Hello everyone. Today we'll make yennekay with brinjal, or you can convert it into a Vangi bhaat or Brinjal bhaat, whatever you want to call it. So the basic ingredients for tadka are mustard seeds, chana dal, urad dal, haldi, little bit of cinnamon pieces, red chilies, and curry leaves. In addition, you should have hing and some tamarind soaked in water. Of course, the vegetables that you need here are brinjal, and you can add a little bit of potatoes also to it to add some flavor. Remember to cut the brinjal in thin and longish, like this. And the potato is also, you can keep the skin or you can remove. I like to keep the skin, but I wash the potatoes really well because there are some good nutrients that come from the skin as well. So remember to put these cut vegetables in water because otherwise they will get brown by oxidation. And after that, you need to keep the rice for boiling. You have a couple of choices to make the rice. You can make the rice in a rice cooker, or you can just boil it in a vessel and pour out the extra liquid that is there. Advantages of that are that you will remove all the extra starch from the rice, and also you don't have to actually know exactly how much water you need to add. Excess water can be drained out. And this also gives you very free-flowing rice grains without breaking them. So its choice is yours, but you need to know when to stop cooking. We'll talk about that later. While the rice is getting ready, you could actually start the pan, heat it. Never ever add oil into a cold pan. So heat the pan a little bit and then add oil to it. Yennekay, as the name suggests, requires a little bit more oil. The reason is that if you mix it with rice, then you should not have a very dry mixture. So to avoid the dryness of it, you should have a little bit more oil. Let the oil heat up. I'm going to increase the gas over here and let it heat up a little bit. And once it heats up, we will add the seasoning that we kept aside. As you can see, the tadka is getting ready. This is an easy way out, okay? Once these turn a little bit brown, they shouldn't burn down, a little bit brown, then you could add karwaple and curry leaves and the red chilies. This is just for flavor. If you don't have them, it's all right. You need not add them. Slow down the heat so that nothing burns down. Once these are nice and brown, you can add the vegetables. Don't add the water. Just fetch the vegetables off the water and add them. You just mix them for some time and leave them like this to get cooked. And you'll keep looking at them so that they turn softer, and you will see that they look cooked as well. I've increased the heat, and then you can see that all the vegetables are coated very nicely with the masala that we have put. Now I'm going to just close it and leave it to steam up a little bit. While it's getting cooked, you could keep coriander powder, chili powder, and if you like to put coconut flakes, that is kopri or cobra, you can keep that ready. Or else, if you have a Vangi bhaat powder, ya fir any sambar kind of sambar powder, that's also all right. We could use that. I don't have those because I always like to do it from the scratch. So I have coriander powder, chili powder, and I'll put a little bit of coconut flakes today. I'm just checking if the vegetables are cooked well. To check that, you can just cut it like this, and if you would be surprised, the eggplant takes, or the brinjal takes longer to cut. So if you cut it like this, and if it cuts, then you know that it's cooked. This one is not ready yet, so we'll just mix it a little bit and close the lid so that it will get cooked in steam. We'll be back. Okay, it's time now to see if the vegetables are cooked. You can see that it's become very translucent. Can you see it? It's become translucent. That means it's almost cooked. It's not fully cooked, but it's almost cooked. You don't want to make it very mushy. So at this point, we will put the dry masalas, which is the coriander powder. I'm going to put coriander powder, about 1.5 teaspoons. And I'll put the chili powder, about 2 teaspoons. Because this is Kashmiri chili powder, and so it's not very hot. So putting it 2 teaspoons would be okay. And I'll also drop all the coconut flakes. Now, if you are going to keep this food for a couple of days, or you want to take it on a travel, don't put the coconut, because the coconut tends to spoil it sooner. Now let's mix this and leave it for cooking a little bit longer. Remember, always put dry masalas into an oil-based mix. Then the extraction of the masalas is perfect. At this point, I'm going to put a little bit of salt. Now, depending on what you're making, if you're making yennekay, then don't put too much salt. But if you're going to mix it with rice, then you would need a little bit more. This is, of course, by your taste. And mix it and leave it for some time to cook. At this point, be very careful because it can get burnt. So watch out. Don't leave the place. Okay, it's been a couple of minutes and you can see that all the masalas are nicely coated onto the vegetables. The vegetables do look nice and cooked. This is the time we'll add the tamarind. Tamarind water that's squeezed in. Mix it nicely. That's the specialty. You'll have the heat from the chili powder and the tamarind will give the sourness and it'll be tasting really good. At this point, I would just simmer it a little bit by closing the lid. There is another thing we were doing simultaneously. We were making rice, and I told you that we are making rice in a pot. So that rice pot has started boiling, which means the rice is almost ready. So at this point, you should take a ladle and see if the rice is cooked. Now, by just looking at it, it's very hard to see. So you should take a grain of rice and then check if that breaks very easily. And if it does, then the rice is cooked. Let me just show it to you. Here, I have a few grains of rice in my hand. Mind you, this whole thing is very hot, so you have to be very careful. And just break it with your fingers, with your nails. And if it breaks nicely and there is no powdery substance, then the rice is cooked nicely. If you want it a little soft, you could leave it a little bit longer. Okay? For me, I think the rice is ready at this point. What I would do is switch off the gas and then drain out all the liquid, that's the water. Be very, very, very careful because it's very hot and the steam can be burning more than the water does. So be cautious. Wow, the rice looks really nice and fluffy. And free-flowing. Look at this. Whew. So delicious. And you didn't need to know how exactly the proportion should be. How much of that extra water is all drained out. Additionally, the starch that's there extra is also drained out. That's the advantage. let's look at how our vegetable is doing. Ooh, very nice. Looks so delicious. And I'm sure it will taste so. If you have fresh coriander, you can add it to this. If you don't have, it's all right. It's not a big deal. I'm going to add a little bit. There you go. Some coriander in it. Then mix it gently. Now you don't want to be too harsh because you don't want to make all the vegetables break into a smoosh. And if you have noticed my videos, you will realize that I always give you options. It's never, oh my God, you need to have this, otherwise this dish cannot be made. I don't believe in that. I believe in having options so that if you don't have a certain thing, as far as you know, that's not the most essential thing, you can still go ahead and make the dish. So, at this point, I think our dish is ready. I'm going to wait for another minute or two. Let it simmer and then add the rice because I want to make a Vangi bhaat and not just yennekay. Otherwise, I would have stopped here and then you can just transfer this into a bowl and serve it with hot chapatis, or you can serve it with rice separately, either way you like it. I've added some amount of rice and I am mixing it with the curry that we have made. Just gently mix it. Don't swoosh everything and make it into a paste. So at this point, I'm going to hold off recording and use both my hands to hold the vessel and mix it gently. Wow, it does look good and I'm sure it will taste good. This is well-versed and long-time practiced recipe. I hope you enjoyed watching it and I hope you'll make it as delicious as I get it. Good luck with that. Bye-bye.